It is strong. It is resilient.
I'm playing the Mayor Garcetti speech so everyone could be up to date on what's going on.
This is a city that comes together in times of need. I think this is one of those moments. But unlike the heroism that we saw recently during the fires, each one of us is a first responder when it comes to coronavirus and COVID-19. We're entering a critical period, and I'm confident that we will get through this together, but it will require all of us to be together and making the right decision. This critical period, as many who are following this know, coronavirus is here. The question is, how steep a curve will it be? And your actions can help us to flatten that curve, literally buying us days and weeks to get to a moment when the virus is less of a threat. And we can each look at this. We know those folks in our workplace and our families who are saying, I'm strong enough, this doesn't apply to me, I'm going to be fine. It's not just about you. We all have people that we know are immunocompromised, people who are being treated for cancer, who have existing diseases. We have seniors and others who are most vulnerable. These are our parents, our grandparents, our neighbors, our coworkers. And the action you take or don't take could decide the fate of their lives. Your city of Los Angeles, for those of you who live in the city of Los Angeles, is acting swiftly. And today, I've just sent to my department heads direction that I'd like to share with you that takes into account the governor's guidance and goes a little bit further. There are 5 main parts of this. Commencing immediately, we've instructed that all city departments are directed to postpone or cancel all non-essential public community events or group activities that require close contact and meetings with 50 or more people. That means that all city departments are directed to postpone and cancel all non-essential public events that require that close contact also of vulnerable individuals who are 60 and over or compromised immune system. And so we're directing a ban on all public events or conferences of city-owned properties that are anticipated to attract more than 50 or more attendees. Second, we will also ban all events or conferences on city-owned properties that are anticipated to have over 50 people. Third, I'm ordering our general managers to develop plans to stagger visitors in public buildings to no more than 50 at a time. For those who are worried that that will create a bottleneck, we'll use best practices as we've seen in Europe and other places, if there's any lines, to make sure that people have the proper social distance between them. Fourth, we're going to ensure that hand washing and sanitizing stations are available in public properties. We take extra care to clean all of our facilities thoroughly and encourage folks to stay away from events if they are sick, and implement the smart social distancing practices, which means that keeping of 6 feet between. Fifth, starting now, we're putting a stop on all non-essential travel by city employees, domestic and foreign. And finally, when the emergency ends, until the emergency ends, we will start to transition board and commission meetings to accessible phone or video conference sessions. And I know our city council president announced yesterday that city council meetings at this point will be on each Tuesday. But we are closing City Hall to all non-city employees. But we will make sure that there are plans for folks to be able to testify at any commissions that we have, and the City Council, of course, will take that forward. These are common sense measures to make sure that this critical period we do everything that we can. Let me say 2 other things. I also want to call on our federal leaders to act swiftly. We've heard the testing and the need for tests. I know that Councilmember Buscaino met with the Vice President, with local leaders in Washington, D.C. just yesterday. And we're underscoring that need for us to continue to get the tests that we need. But secondly, the legislation that's been introduced in the House of Representatives today to lessen the blow economically on those who are most vulnerable today, whether that's extending sick leave, unemployment benefits, or some of the other federal programs that can help small businesses and vulnerable individuals economically get through this, will be absolutely critical. And I know the City Council is looking at what measures we can, together with our county, do to help lessen the blow that we're already feeling among many workers and small businesses. If you were going to go out to dinner, maybe you don't go out to dinner, but order out of that restaurant. Let's prop up those local businesses that are here in Los Angeles, often our friends and family, in our neighborhoods. I'm certainly going to do that with my family tonight. Order locally, even if it's online. And do those things can help LA businesses and LA workers stay strong. And finally, I want to thank the county workers and state workers who have been so extraordinary. Dr. Ferrer, again, who has just been an amazing leader for all of us in the 88 cities of LA County, and also those first responders. We will put special attention on those health professionals, doctors and nurses, the paramedics and firefighters we see represented by our fire chiefs behind us today, and those home care workers who are the most vulnerable. And finally, I want to say, let's be good during this time. I've never, ever seen Los Angeles not come together. But whether it's rushing to stockpile things and people that we're seeing images around this country and stores. By the way, you don't need to buy water if you live in the city of Los Angeles. Department of Water and Power water is actually, long before this crisis, even cleaner than bottled water and is clean today. Don't lose your heads. Offer help. Say thanks to those who are on the front lines. And be smart. Make those decisions that will save a life. With that, let me hand it over to our Sheriff of Los Angeles County, Alex Villanueva.
Thank you, Mayor Garcetti, our elected leaders and appointed leaders here today. As the Sheriff of Los Angeles County, my priority is to say to all of our residents, and this is a time where it's not about being scared, it's about being prepared, plain and simple. As the county's top law enforcement official, my duties include being the director of the Los Angeles County Emergency Operations Center, known as the CEOC. Currently, the CEOC is operating at level 2. As events have developed, I've made the decision to move the CEOC to level 1 to better address the emerging needs of the county. What this essentially means is that EOC will be fully staffed to include leaders and experts from all county departments and stakeholders whom have expertise in this type of crisis. To be clear, this is a health-driven event, with the Department of Public Health and the Office of Emergency Management at the lead. However, this action allows the County Emergency Organization to better garner all available resources to support them. However, my personnel are on the front line, responding to 911 calls and department executive leadership. A division chief is now needed at the CEOC to improve communication, manage resources, and better monitor the situation across the entire county. This also goes towards our extended family, which is the incorporated cities, the 88 cities within Los Angeles County who rely on the County Emergency Operations Center for the coordination of support, for requests for mutual aid, and so forth. I've also directed my department executives to suspend non-essential functions and focus on our essential functions of our custody and patrol operations. The Sheriff's Department Operations Center, which is co-located with the CEOC, will take over resources and operation management for the department across Los Angeles County. This will include moving support and specialized units into positions to handle emergency calls and care for persons in our custody. This will also include canceling large events, non-essential travel, and vacations. As of tomorrow, where we have an academy graduation, for example, we've reduced our guests to just 2 per person. We're going to honor the governor's direction towards keeping any public event of less than 250 people. So all of our executive staff, the people who normally attend academy graduation, will not be there. It will be just the recruits, their 2 guests, and myself. That's in keeping with that. We're also making plans to accommodate our administrative personnel who have the ability to support operations by way of telecommuting. In patrol, we are directing our 911 and desk personnel that when rescue emergency calls are received, to screen information by asking basic questions to assess risk of COVID-19 exposure to responding personnel. We're also going to be asking citizens to file reports both online and telephonically when practical to reduce exposure while maintaining the highest level of service. We also want to be caught in the position where we become vectors, transmitting where we have unknown exposure to the virus. The goal here is to protect the public and my personnel while providing emergency and law enforcement services. The intent is keeping the same level of service by planning and deployment of resources as we move through this situation. It is important for everyone to keep calm and know that the Sheriff's Department is committed to the public it serves and stands side by side with every resident of our great county. And with this, I'd like to introduce Dr. Barbara Ferrer, the Director of Public Health for Los Angeles County.
Good morning, and thank you so much to Sheriff and the Sheriff's entire team for all their support. You know, I want to start by saying it's such an honor to be here with what I think is the best leadership in the entire country. around really coming together with a message that actually allows us to move forward in sensible ways to protect everyone who lives and works here in this beautiful place we call home. I particularly want to thank Chairwoman Barger and Supervisor Solis, who we've been working with closely since we first learned of the novel coronavirus. Their leadership at the board has been an essential component in allowing our team at Public Health to be able to move forward with the tools we need in order to maximize our actions at the community level. And their courageous stance around ensuring that we proceed with a deep understanding of what the science tells us and particular attention to protecting those who are most vulnerable, while underscoring this is not the time for racism and stigmatization of certain groups or populations. This virus knows neither geographic boundaries and it doesn't affect one ethnicity or race more than others. This is, as the mayor noted, a time for us to come together. And I do want to thank Mayor Garcetti and his entire team for their leadership and also for doing what we're going to be asking everyone to do: create a plan and implement a plan. And the plan needs to be bold and the plan needs to be aggressive. And I couldn't ask for a better partner than the mayor in making sure that our cities here in LA County have a roadmap of what it is we need to do to maximize this opportunity to reduce the spread of the novel coronavirus. I also want to thank our two superintendents that are here with us today.
Well, I think you got the gist of it. That was Mayor Garcetti and the sheriff press conference today. There's a lot of important information there. Please share it with your loved ones. Again, the biggest message is don't panic. Be prepared. Wash your hands. Avoid public gatherings, and they're going to help you do that by canceling most of them. And don't panic. Everyone, be fantastic. Thanks for listening. Please share.